we know it's time. I don't just wanna be happy, I wanna live with some peace of mind, with who I am at all times, with who I am at all times. So I think life, think love, think righteous, solely indeed, all in together, all about we, all will remember cause it's all beyond me, all about free, so my spirit flow at ease, light years beyond my pride, just to carry over the shine inside my life. Maybe it was all the exception, or a different perspective. Maybe I just had to learn a lesson, a confession, or get a sense of direction. Playing the game so limited, simply was the process involved. So we suffered, fought as failed lovers, covered and concealed, not revealed who we truly are. And through the light years, so many stories we told. But no matter how intense or the depth, nothing keeps the truth unexposed. Nothing keeps the truth unexposed. Nothing keeps the truth unexposed. Nothing keeps the truth unexposed.
Nothing keeps the truth unexposed.
So long holding on to illusion. My heart is free, no confusion now. I feel everything that I'm choosing. I see, I understand love.
In a mind far beyond all space and time, a phenomenon lives, ever crystallized, thought victimized. In the infancy, love always rules, there is no other dependency. Exposed how my throne stayed aligned, just to open up so that a storm may arise. Maybe I can catch it, maybe I can spare the pride. Humbly in greatness, I'm no longer surprised. Rise in the mind, I don't have to jump ship. Living what I'm not holds moles that don't fit. How does it exist? It's something like an art. Only way to shift it, be the Noah's Ark. Why? I just wanna live my life, knowing that I'll be alright. I just wanna play with my heart still major, play for creative nature. Never meant to feel pain, so I danced when the rain came. All the stories and the change, worth it every time. Never meant to cause pain, but it still served in my mind frame. All the roles we had to play, still living, loving life.
I realized through some life experiences I was going through that my reality around me was not just an accident, it was a reflection of this feeling, mental state I was in. And it was like a light coming on. And the wow factor inside me, I was like, this has been switched off my whole life. How many other people is it switched off in? And the lights came on massively. If this is who I truly am as a human being, the reality I've been created in is crazy. I can create whatever reality I want. I can use this emotional body, and I am connected to the whole universe.
All right, here we go. Just need to turn off my video. All right, well, my Wi-Fi does not seem to be able to handle playing music and sharing my screen at the same time. So it looks like it's ready to blast off as we await the arrival of my magnificent, mysterious, and most humble co-host, Mark Smith, from the Design Science Studio cohort that we're going to be talking about tonight. And I think Julian might be coming by, and we're gonna kick the party off. So we're gonna hang out for just a couple minutes and warm up and settle in. So if you're out there watching, as they say, don't go away. Stay tuned in. We're really just settling in. People are going to start coming in and hang out. There's Lua, there's Arye, and we're going to take our time. And we've got a lot to hang out and talk about and share today. A lot of good, exciting news, a lot of things to share, and a lot of good conversation to have. In the second hour, we've got some poets coming by. Got an interview in about an hour and 40 minutes with one of our cohorts. And oh, look, a good heart keeps you beautiful forever. That's Arye there tuning in. So we're going to have a good time today. Yes, we are indeed. So I'm going to set the stage in just a minute. Hey, Louis, do you feel like saying hello really quick? Checking in where you're calling from and how you're feeling?
Yes, I am calling from my grandmother's house, and I'm feeling great. I'm grateful to Aryabhata for bringing me in here. I haven't been keeping up with the chat, so I didn't know this was happening, and I'm happy to be here.
Cool. Hello there, Arye. Arye, I've decided I'm just going to call him Arye. By the way, we have an agreement of some kind. How you doing, my friend?
I am doing great, Brad. I have to tell you that this is just amazing what you're pulling off. Regen era, that's where you're taking us. And I'm happy to be here, be part of this journey, and let's just go kick ass, kick some ass now.
Wonderful, wonderful. Are you gonna be hanging out and doing a little bit more drawing today, or are you just gonna hang out and chill out this time?
Oh, actually, I and Lua are going to be on the side call. We would be listening in together and just coordinating our work while she will be doing her beautiful stuff. I don't know what that is, so I have to see that creation while I'll be doing my stuff and sharing it over here so everyone can see. And maybe Lua can also do the same. I don't know. I'll just leave her to do all the surprises.
So Lua, are you an artist of some kind? You're going to do some drawing or painting or other kind of art or design of some kind?
Sometimes when I'm in the calls, I just kind of doodle and see what comes out.
Cool. All right. Well, um, so just as a note for everyone, as we're just about settling in, and we're gonna set the stage here, and we're gonna talk about the Design Science Studio and the launch that happened yesterday, and what Regen Era is, and we're gonna talk about all sorts of good stuff. I'm just letting everyone settle in here. Mark will be showing up any second. There he is. There's Mr. Mark. There's Arye getting his drawing out. I'm going to explain why he's got a pencil and paper there. Good evening, Mr. Mark.
Oh my goodness. I was stuck in between the beams. And yeah, I couldn't break away from where we were. Julian, who's going to be joining us in a little bit, was presenting what he's been up to. He just mentioned that he had done an interview with you recently. And so here we are. I'm here, and looks like we're here hanging out as two birds of a feather. So nice to see you.
Yes, this is Mark's artwork in the background, by the way, everyone. Hi, Jenny. Nice to see you. I'll bring you in a second. We're just kind of settling in to everyone out there in the audience. Mark, we're just kind of chilling out and actually just settling in. I haven't really set the stage yet or talked too much. I'm just fiddling around a little bit, letting everyone know we're going to be introducing the Design Science Studio and the launch of Regen Era this week, and all the amazingness that's going down with the movement, the Regenaissance, the movement that is.
It is. It always was. That's the thing I find curious about all of this. I'm old enough to have seen the transition from 50 years ago. And that's my bit of backcasting. That's why I've got the two birds joining me today, so that we can have some of those discussions. And who have we got joining us on the screen? Lua da Luz, Arvata, and Jenny.
Lua is a friend of mine and Arye's. We're in a group called the Awake and Dream Synergy and something called Open World Alliance, which I'm going to talk about a little bit today. Yeah, so I just wanted to let everyone know who's watching. We're just about to launch into a little bit of setting the stage here. In the Facebook post, there is a link for a bunch of links, and one of them says Beaming Regenera, and in that link there is actually a link for the Zoom link if you want to kind of jump in here live and witness, and we'll try to bring people in and invite you to speak as we can as we're in flow. And there's going to be some people doing some live art. So last week I put out a post asking live artists if they'd want to come on and do some drawing or painting or making music in co-creation in response to what they witness and what they hear. And we're going to use some of this art for what is called non-fungible tokens or something like that in the future as a way to generate some much needed resources for the Regenaissance and for the Design Science Studio and for some of the projects that are part of that. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about that later. But if you see me switch over the camera and you see people drawing, that's what they're up to. They're basically documenting the stream of consciousness in their own ways and in whichever art forms they might be into or passionate about. So, Mark, do you want to help me out before we get into like kind of the nitty gritty of the Design Science Studio? Maybe take a breath and see if you want to set the stage a tiny bit, or just in your own way.
Yeah, well, I just came over from the planetary session, the opening session for the day, one of 8. So today's the second day of the, can you, is that, yeah, you're gonna have to take over there, Brett.
Okay, Mark's got construction going on over there in the future where he comes from. Apparently they still use drills in the future, which everyone should feel very excited and confident about. Not everything has to change so drastically. So what happened yesterday on the 21st of March on the equinox is that something called the Design Science Studio launched a project. And the Design Science Studio is really an incubator. And it's an incubator where artists and visionaries and scientists come together in a cross-disciplinary space to really, for lack of a better word, be the change they want to see in the world. And it's people who were attracted to the work of Buckminster Fuller, the idea of regeneration, ideas like co-creation. And we were in an 8-month program together that has been now just completed. So the zenith of that 8-month time together is the launch of something called Regen Era, which is actually a story world. It's a floating city that actually just mysteriously arrived yesterday, and at the end of the decade, it will mysteriously float away. And in between those 2 points, Regen Era is going to be a host, a catalyst, an artifact, a place and a space, and a story world where all of us around the world who are excited and inspired by the ideas of a regenaissance, a revival, a renewal, a world that works for all life is the mission of this cohort of Regen Era and the Design Science Studio. And that's what happened yesterday. And for the next week, Mark and I and other cohort members are going to be here to tell the world how excited we are to be part of the experience and to point out some of the things you can go check out and to interview some of the cohort members and to play music live and to do poetry live. And like you're seeing right now, to have artists join us and create art lives. So I'm just going to say thanks to Yannicka for tuning back in. She was here yesterday. She started a piece of artwork there. We've got Jenny, who I'm going to ask in a few moments to say hello. She was here yesterday. She is a multi-talented artist. We've got other people, everyone with us. Please, everyone, be patient with me. Hosting calls of this nature and directing everything and spotlighting people is a new thing for me.
Got it going on, Brett. You're doing fine. You're doing fine. We're beaming live from Regen Era, the heart of the Regenaissance. Art about regenerative thought. That's what we've come upon. And so we are expecting some guests to drop in, hopefully Julian, when they finish the main event there. And who else are we expecting, Brett? Anybody in particular that you know of, or we're just gonna play it by ears?
Yeah, so in the next hour, so the first hour here, we're gonna settle in, Mark. We're gonna, Julian will probably stop by, maybe Jurgis to play some music, but we're gonna really settle in a little bit more of the narrative, and give the artist a chance to feel into the space. And then at the top of the hour, which is 1 p.m. Pacific, we've got some poets coming in to do some poetry. At 1:40 p.m., we have an interview with one of our cohort members, Gina, I believe, is today. I have to double check my calendar. So we have a little bit of a schedule and a little bit of free flow of some of the beautiful sites that are involved with this Regen Era launch and some of the amazing artwork and things that are happening. And then Mark and I maybe will share a little bit about the projects we've brought into the cohort as well that are weaving together.
Good fun. So where do we want to start? How do you want to get the flow here and where we're going to go to? This is part of the aspect of our show that's a little bit different than most of the other cohorts, because we've come at this in the last minute. We've fallen through the forms and we've landed on our feet right here with you all, being Regen Era. And what we'd like to do is present this idea. First of all, what is beaming? Start there. What is it to beam? I every once in a while, I'll see somebody like maybe Sarah right now. Sarah's looking at the camera. Just trying not to, there she goes. She's beaming right there. Got her. All right. We got beaming going on right here. So there's lots of different ways to beam, but one of the things I like about the word beaming, and we like to do a lot of wordplay, don't we, Brett? And with the word beam actually, I believe the root, like the tree that's coming out of your head, maybe is right through and into you, Sarah, that root. But the root is Germanic, and its beam is bound with a tree. Beam. And when you build a ship, they usually built them out of wood, the very first ones. And then they started measuring the width of the ship at the widest point, which was the beam, the widest beam. And so when you say the beam of a ship, you're talking about the widest spot, breadth of the ship. And the wider the beam, of course, the more stable the ship, the wider the beam, the more of us you can get on board. We are in a floating city, beaming Regen era. And we're taking that perspective, we're anchoring ourselves in the future. In 2030, we've gone through 10 years with a variety of artists and designers who have come forth, have been willed forth from the future to be part of the solutions that were talked about by Anthony actually in the opening sessions. The solutionists, as they call themselves. People that have found a passion, pulled by a will, entangled in a thread, whatever the archetype, whatever the message, whatever the way you want to tell that story, they're here, we're here, and we're beaming. So we're backcasting to you of how we got there in 2030. We are the backcasting evolutionary alliance mediums beaming to you from Regen era. Backcasting evolutionary alliance mediums. As Marshall McLuhan said, the medium is the message. Be the medium. We're here to be the mediums with you. So, Brett, where do you want to go from there? We're beaming. Sarah's beaming. Who else is beaming with us? Yannicka, and all of the clan. Are they beaming? Yeah.
Hi, can I introduce my mom to you guys?
Of course.
And Delphi. So this is baby Delphi. Say hi. She's not going to be making any art today, but this is Yelena. Where are you, Mom? Hi. And I told her about the whole project, and she hasn't really read up on the whole website yet, but she wanted to spend some time painting too. So, and then I'll be back tomorrow.
Wonderful. Oh, how wonderful. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being with us, and thank you for sharing some art.
Thank you.
Oh, this is great. Yannicka and I really just met through this post. So the magic of, the positive of Facebook. Someone tagged. Oh no, she found a post in the Visionary Art Facebook group.
Yeah.
Is that right, Yannicka? Yeah. Yeah. So let's not forget and be grateful for the service that Facebook has provided until we all move on to something that's more beneficial for us. But really, it was an evolutionary step to some degree while it lasted. Yeah.
I saw Jenny beam. She popped in and beamed right at us, like right in that very moment. Yeah, there she is. Ah, there she is. Love it. Thank you. All right. So
nice to meet you, Mark. Yeah. Very nice to meet you on real. I guess, is there a qualifier we can put before IRL? IRLZ in real life Zoom.
Right on. Sarah, you want to say hi? I'll take that as a no, or she's working on it. She's working on it.
As I'm trying to figure out my phone. Hello.
Hi. Where are you calling in from?
Wyoming in the States.
Wyoming. Mark is up sort of in that direction. I've never actually been. I'm from New Jersey originally. I drove cross country when I was younger, but I never got to really see a lot of that area, Wyoming and Oregon and all that, and Montana and everything. So wonderful. And what brings you here, Sarah?
It looked interesting. I found out about this from Clubhouse. I was doing the live music rooms with Jurgis all last week, so.
Oh, nice.
Oh, wait a second, Sarah, you were in one of the sessions. Huh. Were you
I was in all of them last week. All of the ones at night, yeah.
That I was in with as well? And we were doing the re-song and the re. How fun was that? I don't know about you, but I had never done anything like that. And Jurgis just drew it out of all of us. Thank you. Yeah, I don't think shows up. We're expecting it. Maybe. Let's see.
Wow, that's excellent. Well, thank you for being here with us. I really appreciate it. You know, Mark, I thought it was nice yesterday when we started a little bit with, what brought us here, how we got here. Equally as important to where we're going and where we are now and where we've come from. And I thought that was a nice effect. I thought it was a nice effect for the artist, especially, I imagine. And I thought it was a good entry point. And I remember afterwards, I hadn't said to you during the call, but I felt happy and lucky that you had, asked some questions about how I got here. And I got to share a little bit about this Synergy Hub experiment I did and some other stuff in the past that has informed me being here now in this moment. Would you mind sharing? I guess we're going to have to get used to this, although I want to have fresh material all the time, every day. I still think it would be nice, Mark, if you could just share a little bit extemporaneously about how you've felt this convergence coming for a long time. A lot of people of your generation too. And I wanted to ask you if you can also weave in. It doesn't have to be now the whole time, but I'm 45, so I grew up in the 80s, and growing up as a Generation X person who's into the counterculture and all that, I always and Yannika's mom, like, what happened in the 70s when it was all ecological and like coming out of Woodstock and all that, and then disco came and the oil companies and and everything else. What's kind of your? I'm using that as a frame of reference. Like, what is your? Tell us something about your journey, like being so inspired, I think, probably by the 60s and Bucky, and then there seemed to be like a lull there in the late 70s, 80s, and like it feels like it's coming back alive in some way. Is there any way to relate to that, or?
I like, that's my relationship to that. That this way of presenting my artifacts that over the last 40, 50 years. I appreciate the question. It's going to get banged around because I am in a geodesic dome that we are moved into that goes back to this story 40 years ago. And so there may be some clanging and banging. But Brett, so I was born in 56, basically when television started, when the color TV, and my dad was in the industry. He was actually working on one of the first game shows for, it was actually more of a reality TV show, if anybody remembers Clean for a Day. And they would honor the women in America by going around to all these small towns and sharing their stories. And so I grew up around this idea that television was a medium that was new, that was coming, that was something to be involved in. My dad was, and then Vietnam came. And the 60s, we had the medium to help drive the message clear and create the activism that we saw. And my mom took me to Jane Fonda's film when it came out, when it first premiered. And so there were many things in my life that brought me to this very moment to be able to backcast with you and say, how the heck did I get here? Because I'm still in awe of the fact that I am here with you right now. The 70s, so 1970, I went to Japan, to Osaka, to the expo that was there, which was Harmony and Progress for Mankind, something of that nature, but it was all about art, new tools and technology. And there was an incredible exhibit there. It was a geodesic dome. And I happened to just find a photo of myself in front of it, 14 years old. And it was incredible to see that and then go to Hiroshima to see man's ability to destroy. So from a very young age, this idea of our intent and what we can do with that and the power of that is been with me. So all these things kind of built up, and then we had the ecology movement kind of got born right around that time, and and I was just like a child of all this. I was like, wow, this is amazing. Humanity's got the gig going, you know, we got to figure it out, you know? And then I met a number of people that were involved in theater, street theater around the world, and a dear friend who worked with Buckminster Fuller on the World Games in 1976. And so I moved in with him. He was a college professor, I was a student, but we started a design firm with some other folks called the Dolphin Farm right on the Pacific Ocean. And we were some of the first people to have Apple computers, and we were using the tools that were behind the curtain that were being developed by DARPA and the New Jersey Institute of Technology. Some of the first aspects of the internet, we were testing them for business purposes for large events for corporations.
Hey, both of you are on mute.
Thank you, my friend. Yeah. So, Mark, we'll come back to you if the construction stops. So I got you.
Wait, what happened? Did I go on mute because of all the banging?
Yeah, it's getting loud. It's getting super loud. So thank you, Mark, for sharing. And by the way, for those of you checking in and listening and watching, we're just kind of slowly taking our time getting into the space today. We're not really in a rush. We're not here to be a typical entertainment or talk show in that every single second is the most attention-grabbing thing. We're really into synchronicity and emergence and spaciousness. And again, we've got Yelena here in the background creating live art. You know, I don't know, Yelena, later if you want or if you feel like it, you can tell us a little bit what it's like to listen to conversation in pain, or if that's what you're doing, or what your process is like, if anything, or is there anything if you feel like talking? Yeah.
It's very interesting for me because I'm a professional artist for many years and a teacher, and I'm kind of stuck with painting some commissions like portraits and teaching kids all the time. And when I have my own space to work, purpose to be an artist, I'm so happy. That's why I'm happy to be here with you. And Janica is such a good artist, and she's a mother for the little baby. She has another baby, so we're working as a family, as a creative art fusion studio, and we live in Colorado. It's our favorite place on earth right now. Even originally, I am from the Ukraine, from Odessa. It's south part, and I'm Russian. And we speak at home Russian, and we love Colorado. After we lived in LA for almost 28 years, we moved here, and we are so happy we are here because it's the environment, the nature, it's much easier. And regarding what happened in LA last year, like everybody asked me, how did you know? Why did you move? So you are so lucky you moved. Exactly, we moved in a little town, and it's like in heaven, because we have rivers, we have mountains, we have people who are very kind. And now Janica found this interesting movement what you created, and I know fuller how from the art history I took in my college in Russia before. I read about it. I even know the monument in Los Angeles to him. So it was close where we lived, in the park. So it's the floating city. I've been reading about that maybe 5 years ago about this idea, and people said, oh, maybe only rich people going to live in there. And your concept that people who are creative can create some space where everyone can live, and maybe to create the lifestyle in the future when people actually I am vegan because, and I don't want to jump, don't kill animals, because everyone knows that it's a bad idea what we are doing. But it's not the worst idea, because we in war, we are whatever, we're just humans. So thank you so much for letting me be with you, and we'll hope everything will work. Thank you for your attention. I'm talking too much.
Thank you. Well, we're here. We're still here to get to know each other and hear stories as well. This is still, you know, what the fabric, yeah, the fabric of us all coming together and living, you know, peacefully in peaceful coexistence, and to co-create together and have and still have our own unique expressions. And it's ultimately really important that we all
Yeah.
get to know each other. You know, I mean, my family heritage is from Russian. I've never been to. I'm in the UK now. My wife is from here. I've never actually been to Russia or, you know, my family. So my name on the screen says Bretminster Fullofit. So that's my poetic homage to Buckminster Fuller. So I like to play with words and I like to have a good time. So my given name is Brett, Bret. So it was a perfect match for Buckminster and Bretminster. And instead of Fuller, I made it full of it because I'm usually kind of hyper and excitable and all that. So, but my last name is Warshawski. So my family came through Poland through Ellis Island, but they were all from Minsk, Russia, and Belarus and Romania. So in some ways, because I've never really been there, it's nice to hear your accent and to hear about your story. So there's always something connecting us, you know, that's beyond the mundane or beyond the surface kind of stuff. So thank you for being with us, and we'll certainly enjoy watching you paint while you're here.
Nice.
There you go.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right. I see X has joined us and Stroopy.
Oh, Stroopy's.
I don't think, Mark, I don't think I'm using Zoom right. Like, I don't know what is the spotlight and the pin. Do you have any controls that you understand? Because I just checked Facebook out of curiosity, and it's only going from.
First of all, do you make co-hosts? Yeah, we're new to all this. We plan.
Anyway, I'm working on understanding that. I thought I understood it, but maybe not so much. So welcome everyone who's just tuning in, whether literally here live with us on Zoom, or if you're watching out there in Facebook land on the internets. We're really glad that you've all decided to join us. We're half an hour in today to our 2-hour or beyond broadcast, and really we've been really settling in and taking it easy and gently getting into the space and not really feeling like we need to rush. But we are here to definitely celebrate something called the Design Science Studio and the launch of something called Regen Era. And I'm going to see who from the studio is here. We have some of our cohort members here. If they could help give us some energy here and tell us about what they love about the Design Science Studio or Regen Era, or what they're, you know, from your lens, what is happening yesterday? What's going on? Does anyone feel inspired and able to tune in? X or Stroopy, or anyone want to raise a hand? Or let's see, let me get my
Stroopy played a beautiful tune for us. Yeah.
Stroopy might play us some music, absolutely, at some point to help the artist out. That's for sure. We hope so.
And then
I think I got to put X on the spot because it works that way.
Because you just have to say that.
Yeah, because I had to say that.
I knew that was going to happen.
Because she looks so psychedelic.
Well, I was the welcomer to the village, so this is the background for the village. So you can see me on the village recording, which I haven't seen yet, but I'm in all my finery welcoming people to the village, which is a part of Topia, in which we explore different ways of living in harmony with each other and nature, and how we can kind of reorganize our social structures and our building materials to help support a regenerative way of living. So all the projects associated with that live in the village.
So how did you end up here? We love to ask that question. How'd you get here? Where'd you come from?
good question. I mean, to this particular room, I can explain that, but I think you're speaking of probably like the studio as a whole, or maybe with how I am as a person, you know, like how wide is the lens zoomed out here, you know?
That's up to you to reveal to us.
Well, I would say I, as a person, tend to think a lot about responsibility and what my responsibility is to the planet and other people. And so I've been kind of oriented toward trying to live a regenerative life for a long time before I even knew that term, in terms of like the way I eat and the way I interact with, you know, the things that I need for my daily life. And I am really grateful to present a lot at a lot of different gatherings and festivals and events about risk reduction, and especially with regards to altered states of mind. And, you know, amongst that work, I've spoken on some stages that Roxy manages, for example, and we've become friends over time and danced alongside each other in cathartic community celebration. And I am really grateful to be a part of the studio, because I think my big kind of thrust in life, my rocket fuel, is how to create containers for celebratory group trauma release. So how can we kind of support each other in this process of shedding what no longer serves us, and seeing each other as what we want to be, and holding each other to that upliftment and that co-evolution. And I do that in a lot of ways, but this studio has helped me share some of the techniques that I use with a lot of different people in a larger scale.
Thank you for sharing that. Sounds that, you know, when we were earlier, Jurgis was doing the re song with everybody. And retreat just came to mind when you were speaking. Yeah, I live and steward a retreat center. So I'm literally constantly on retreat. And that's one of the ways that I, you know, hold space, is in creating spaces and making safe spaces for transformation. But I live at an embodiment focused retreat center that I'm the main steward of. Is that something that you...
I love how you said altars. Oh, go ahead, Mark. Sorry.
I was just wondering, I just asked if it's something that you had seeded yourself or with others, how that, you know.
Could you repeat that question?
I'd asked if you had started the retreat center, if you had seeded it.
The retreat center.
Yeah, I mean, you could definitely say that. I mean, the structures existed before I arrived, but in terms of transforming it into a space that actually hosts people rather than just an idea, I would definitely say I started that, yes. Yeah. Right on. And it's in Lakeport, California. So come visit, anyone on the West Coast. I would love to share this beautiful Pomo land with everyone and see what develops in that way.
Word. Are you going to be doing some poetry a little bit later? I looked at the schedule.
Oh, I forgot. Yes, I am. I have a whole plethora of poetry I'm going to share. I think I'm sharing technically at 1:10, because at 1:11,
yeah,
you know,
something around there. Yeah, whatever.
You love that. Yeah, yeah, I am a poet and a writer. I've written so many words in my life, but the poetry especially, I think, is good because it's like a distilled version of a lot of the thoughts. So I think I'm going to read probably some of my, I'm probably going to read Movement, which is about like what it is like being part of a movement that is movement based. So a lot of my healing work is around like cathartic movement and somatic psychology techniques, and also the, you know, celebratory catharsis that comes from group dance as a technology, such an ancient technology for bonding and trauma release. And I'm really grateful to have the language of somatic psychology and academic research to apply to these, ancient containers, to maybe convince some of the more heady among us that it's really valuable to gather and move together.
Really awesome. I'll do some spontaneous sort of spoken word / poetry to some music as well at some point. I know Jenny likes to riff some poetry. By the way, X and Jenny, maybe you guys want to hook up sometime in the future. You guys have some stuff in common, that we all actually have in common. And X, I was fascinated, by the way, when you specifically use altered states of mind compared to altered states of consciousness. So I'm not going to get too diverted on that now, but in the future, I'm going to come back and ask you why you made that distinguishment. I know I have a reason why I would, but I'm very curious why you've chosen that, because I know there must be a reason, whether it's big or small. But most people say altered states of consciousness, so I'm very curious. And I'm very curious at some point to have a larger conversation about mental health, mental well-being, and the states known as mental illness, which X has a lot of experience with, and Jenny here also has experience. A lot of us actually have experience with. And just as a note, Mark and I are going to be doing this beaming. I think it's called a beamcast, right, Mark? Not a podcast. After this week, we're going to take a break and then reconvene and have the first beamcast on the planet. Yeah.
I think so. I think everybody just got to show up and just beam with us.
Right on. So that's going to be a good time, and we're going to get really deep on certain subjects in some of those beamcasts. We'll have certain really deep dives on certain topics. And X, I'm just so super looking forward to getting to know you better, and all of the cohorts. I'll just share a really brief story about my experience in the cohort. We were actually together for 7 or 8 months, all online because of the current status, and I was finding it difficult to connect a little bit because I'm used to networking and doing calls all the time. And when it first started, I was like, oh, I don't want to keep scheduling more calls and the time zones and all that. And then literally the last 2 weeks, when we all came together for this common bond beyond our own individual projects to put on this launch event, and we started breaking into Telegram and WhatsApp and emails and Zoom, it kind of went into my territory of multi-social networking and multi-channels and smaller groups. And I already knew everyone in the cohort was amazing, amazing artists, amazing visionaries, beautiful soul people. But even in just the last 2 weeks, I've started to get to know people actually better, like for real, and actually even tune into some of the projects more. And I'm just on a super, super natural high right now, and really, really turned on by what we're going to do, the next 10 years. So I just want to say that I'm going to invite some more of the cohorts who are showing up here to share their experiences and what's exciting for them. This Design Science Studio launch is actually a 10-year initiative. Buckminster Fuller had something called the Design Science Decade. So we're not just here for a moment or a week or a month. We're settling in for this decade, for the movement of the Regenaissance. We're going to ride this wave, and we're going to make, I don't actually like to use the word make, but we're going to reveal a world that works for all of life. And we're actually going to do it. There's not a question for me. There's no doubt. There's no if. I know a lot of people say, we don't really know if we have all the solutions. We don't really know what it is. I actually beg to differ. I think there's a lot of people on this planet that have a very, very good idea of some of the core elements and ways of being, especially, and solutions and innovations and inventions that we actually do know quite a lot. There's always a lot we don't know. We all know that. But I don't think it's as mysterious, so to say, as a lot of people might say. So we're on this path to do this together as this cohort. There's going to be cohorts every year. If people are into what they see here and they love the vibe of the people and the projects, please look up the links for the Design Science Studio. Join the cohort next year. You're going to be building upon everything this first cohort did, and every year the community will grow. There was 144 of us. So I guess there'll be another 144. That's 288, and then 566. By the time we get to 2030, there'll be whatever that is, just among this little cohort. So please, everyone, do check that out. So let's see who we can bring in. I know I saw Harlan, I saw Dan, Harlan, Dan, anyone want to shout out and talk about how excited they are about their experience with the Design Science Studio? Let's promote the crap out of this amazing thing and more. The people who are holding down the space of it: Roxy, Nico, Faith, Amanda, and I'm sure some others. I apologize for not putting the faces to names. If anyone else here can do that, please do. These are amazing, amazing space holders, catalysts, and we're all here to say yes for them and say God bless those people for what they've done to help convene 144 people.
I'll chime in, Brett Minster, if you want. Yes?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Please do. Yes, we can. Please do.
Well, so first of all, like you said, you asked about, to chime in about how excited we are about this. So yes, I'm very excited, which is why I'm here now. And I've been, since early this morning trying to check out and be part of different things and also trying to plan my contribution to this week's things. But as much as I'm excited, and I don't hear other people really talking about this experience, but I'm finding I'm extremely frustrated with the way this is set up and working, and I'm having a lot of difficulty both accessing it and also interacting and sharing what I need to do on it. And I do really, you guys, Mark and Brett, this beaming thing is actually one of the more successful features of the Regenero, because it's actually pretty easy to access, pretty easy to interact, and so that's why I'm over here right now.
Well, yeah, I understand your frustration. It's kind of funny. I was thinking about that this morning. I was looking at all the threads, and because that's kind of what's rumbling in the background is the challenge of a multi-platform, central kind of experiential event that's being put on by all these different people, each in their own platforms, and that is the challenge that they face. And I think that's what Brett was giving gratitude towards. But I feel your frustration, and to be quite honest, that's why I suggested we have this for those of us that were challenged by that or had our focus elsewhere during this time. And it just gives us a space to show up and share and echo what is happening there. So I hear you, Harlan.
Yes. So I am getting a handle on it slowly. I still have not submitted my talks through the Presence platform. There's still some issues which I don't quite understand what I need to do those submissions. And but I'm diving in deep, and I'm spending a lot of time, and I am seeing some really good stuff. I was in the planetary session until I got cut off and then couldn't rejoin. And I did see some great people, Serena and Stroopy, and I can't remember all of them, but yeah, people, what was it, Helena, I think, had really great presentations in there, and people are doing amazing work. So yeah, my thought though, I don't need to go on too long about this, but it seems, we are trying and experimenting with all these various platforms and stuff, but even like to go to the schedule and stuff, it's like a block of various images. It seems like it could be made much simpler and much more accessible. It doesn't need to be this complicated. They could have just chosen some simpler platforms and simpler way to schedule it and make it just, something. And if I'm this frustrated, I'm wondering about all the other people that are trying to come and join this and interact and see what's going on with it. So anyway, maybe I'm glad you're chiming in, Mark, and we maybe could have a little bit more discussion about this before, moving on to something else, which maybe that something else would be. And of course, I'm excited during the course of the week. And I even just sent some emails to the design science team. Like I have not been invited to be on any of those planetary sessions to present yet. So I said to them, hey, why don't, would you like to have me on one of those? And of course, I'm here in beaming to present. And what I have to share and present is pretty concise. So it's not like I need a lot of time. I've got this great less than 3-minute video, and I've got my website that's pretty quick and easy to navigate around for what I'm trying to share. So, I could just dive into that. But yeah, so that's what I'm up to, both getting a handle on this whole thing and wanting to share what I've created for it.
That's what we're here for.
Harlan.
Stroopy, you are awesome.
Let me just jump in here very quickly and say I understand the frustration. I'm not even trying anymore to go into all the platforms. I'm keeping it low low profile. But with the planetary sessions, don't worry, they are scheduled like at the day. You know, you will be taken care of if you have submitted some times where you are available. So don't worry. I think they are doing the best job they could, given the scale and size of what we're doing. I mean, I'm still getting to know more people. You know, now 8 months in, I haven't even met everyone, and it's really just such a great and complex endeavor. I think there's a lot of good happening. I just don't think I will get to every part of it, and I don't need to.
Yeah, of course you can't get to every part of it. It's all over the place. Like, even to go into, I found my space in the Topia, and Topia is divided into 4 Topias. They couldn't fit everything into one. And so you have to then navigate into these other ones. And even that navigation is somewhat broken. But and that's just Topia. Then Mora, I guess the new art city, which is in Mora, looks amazing. I have not been there yet. And they're saying they're still even trying to work that out. And then there's I haven't been yet to the Futurist Cafe Zoom, which is another platform for people to be presenting. There's so many things. And actually, I see that Evelyn Marie 144, hey, that's my number too, 144. I need to connect with her. She's in the chat. Said, she wrote, as a guest, I was overwhelmed with the complexity to get in and understand, what's going on. And yeah, keeping things simple and concise. Like, I just made my new website and I really try to strip it down to the bare minimum, make it very easy to navigate and read and see everything. And just want to make things accessible. Well, anyway, but we're here and this is great. And like you say, Struby, you're positive.
Let's at some point I'd like to use that as a springboard really for having a conversation about what we've learned about the format and the process and how wonderful really that is, because now we can adjust, we can evolve, and we can go through a feedback loop of harvesting all these experiences and realizing what we can do to make it some things more efficient and more optimal and more enjoyable. And we're the first cohort and the first program is absolutely just for people tuning in, and as an experiment. I mean, we're the guinea pigs, and I've been involved in 8 years of research, design, and development on the idea of actually co-creation. Like, what does it mean to co-create, which is still a little bit different than collaboration and from the world that I come from. So it's not easy to have 3 people actually co-create, let alone 144. So we certainly don't want to bypass the frustrations or the aspects of what's happened that are challenging. And I also want to make sure we equally acknowledge that we jumped into the abyss of an experiment, and that's part of the bargain. But that being said, yes, it's we bit off a lot, and we're trying to chew it now, and we're gonna hopefully, as the week goes on, things will improve a little bit on that end. And I want to just reset the stage a little bit in case people have just tuned in or joined us. There was a couple of people. So just if you've actually joined the Zoom, we're really in a spacious kind of space. We're having a conversation. We don't have a massive destination or a sense of urgency that anything needs to be done. We're here to converse, to explore, and please bear with some of us co-hosts as we do our best to invite people to check in or to contribute in some way. We are, as a matter of note, focused a little bit on celebrating with some of the cohort members so they can come in and share about their experiences like Harlan just has, and share about the projects that they're bringing into this design science studio. And in the next hour, we're going to have some members come and do some poetry. Hopefully there'll be some music. And an hour from now, we have one of the cohorts coming in to do an interview. So that's what we're up to in the next hour, as well as finishing this conversation. And what Mark and I kicked off is called Beaming Regenera. So we're here to help tell the story of the project and the movement and the being that is the Design Science Studio, and something called Regenera, which is a mythical floating city, which is a story world. It's an artifact, it's a tool to help this cohort and all the world who want to participate spend the next 10 years working towards a world that works for all of life. And of course, that's a very, very big question that we're going to want to deep dive on over the coming weeks and months and years. What does it mean to have the world reveal itself as a world that really works for all of life? But that's what we're all doing here today, what we're gathered here to do today. And we also have some artists doing some live art with us. I'm going to do a screen share if I can figure out Zoom. I'm unfortunately not a producer, so I'm working on figuring that out. But we have some people creating art for non-fungible tokens that we're going to use to help generate, some prosperity for the Design Science Studio and some of the projects. And pardon me for speaking so long here. I'm just going to add one more note, because this is something that matters to me, because one of my missions on Earth is to help create a rebirth and a renaissance for philanthropy. So I'm not talking about the philanthropy of Bill Gates and people getting their pictures on a wall and writing tax write-offs. I'm talking about a rebirth and a renaissance for the idea of the love of humanity. So I am if there was one thing, Harlan, actually, to be honest, that I was, and I'll use the word kind of lightly, disappointed with, because I don't really like to focus on negatives or problems. There's one thing I'm disappointed with, is that of all the people around the Buckminster Fuller Institute, which have helped produce this cohort, that the core team was not just given a few $100,000 or a few million to actually have the spaciousness and the help they needed and to be taken care of in that way, in order to show up and create all these avenues and hire more people when necessary, bring more people in. That's one thing I want to change about this whole scenario. I'm not excited about the fact that it's all shoestring and that they didn't have what they needed when there's so much abundance in the world on all levels. And that's, again, part of what we're just going to do it ourselves, right? You don't wait for other people or count on other people, or for me, go into the blame game. It's up to us to be the solution. So one of those solutions is going to be to use this art that is created during this event and ongoing to actually get crafty and pick ourselves up by our own bootstraps. So Mark, if you want to chip in and help us just transition.
Yeah, we have a question. Somebody's asking, who is that? Evelyn, do you want to come on and you have a curiosity about the cohort and joining? Hello. Caught you with a mouthful.
Hello, I'm eating right now. It's so rude to eat in front of people, but I have a meeting in a few minutes that I need to go to for the Green Theme Camp community for Burning Man. And I'm so excited for everything you guys are doing. I'm so thrilled at the synchronicity of finding this event within the last 24 hours. I belong here with all of you. I'm so excited about everything that's happening and just have my creative open mind in learning. And I also am an ecological designer, a permaculture designer, and I've been doing events for so long, and I just want to learn. So I am gonna have to come back because I have a meeting that I need to go to and I don't want to be late for it. But is this session going till 2 or 3?
Well, we're going until 2, and then 3 o'clock is there's a jam session for Regenera. But you are welcome to check into designscience.studio, the Buckminster Fuller Institute, and I'm sure you would be welcomed aboard. Yeah.
Wonderful, and I will just keep coming to these other sessions and popping in. I'm very much available and excited to be present with my face and my voice and my ideas and listening. So I'll just keep popping into the different sessions and keep reintroducing myself to all of you. And I'm just so excited for everything that's happening here.
What's the meeting you're going to? A Burning Man? You said the Green?
Yeah, it's a Green Theme Camp community.
Okay.
There's a lot I could say about that and a lot of different things, but I don't want to.
You have to go. Yes.
I have to, yeah, and I have to go. I need to finish my little bit of food here. So you all just have a wonderful day, and I will probably see you very soon. Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
We'll be here. We'll be here all week, 12 to 2 on the weekdays. So come back again, and then
Okay,
we're
12
going
to
to be
2.
doing
So
this
all
over the
this,
coming
all the
months.
things, yeah.
Grab,
12 to 2
grab
seems like a good
my,
job to come here.
before you
Right
cut
on.
out, I sent
You
you
guys have
my I sent you my new website in the chat. So click that open if you can, and you can send me a message to connect directly if you like. Have a great meeting. Thanks to
Yeah,
meet.
I
Great to
will.
meet you.
Wonderful, thank you. And I am on Discord. I signed up there, so I'm there for chatting too. Okay, bye you all. Have a wonderful day.
Bye.
Bye.
I want. Elena's rated this whole painting, by the way. Yeah, from the start of the call, right, Elena? But that was a blank canvas at the start of the call, yeah? Yeah. So
I love that you're doing that, Brad. I think it's such a wonderful platform to bring art through and to have art be moved by the conversation, moving it into for others to see and be part of, because it gets embedded into the work that people are producing live. So I just love that you've created a stream for the water in our love in our hearts to be poured into artwork that can then be distributed for the good of the people who are creating it and making change. And like you said, it's a time for that now. It's a time to support those who support, and through their work makes world changes. So thank you.
I agree. And I just wanted to say, I was supposed to be doing a song. I don't know if you can see. This is what the art I came up with. We were talking about Gentopia, and I came up with this little visual of the music and the music clef as our sort of inspiration.
nice. I love it. Was that
Can we see
Stephanie?
it? I was
Oh,
speaking before, yeah, but I don't know.
I was putting it up here on the screen. I don't know if you
Oh,
can.
yeah, cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
And art is. I need to bring up my notes, but art is really a key. Dan, I'm gonna bring you in a second. Art is really one of the key pieces of this design science studio and Regenera. We're really looking at the intersection between art, and science and comprehensive design, and the level of artistry and visionaries of this cohort is just phenomenal to me. And you'll see that as you start making your way this week and onwards onto some of the sites and through some of the artwork and the 3D and the virtual reality artwork that's being created. X has been doing some painting yesterday, live painting. REA was doing some live drawings. As you just saw, Elena, she actually, like I said, that was a blank canvas at the beginning of this call. So super exciting. All right, I'm still struggling with the pinning and spotlights. I still don't understand Zoom. Forgive me. Does anyone here actually understand Zoom, where I can make you a co-host and you can help me out, like someone who's like linear implemented thinking? No?
Yeah, you should be able to make me a co-host there, my friend. I'm supposed to be a
All right,
co-host.
let me do that. And then Dan, I'm going to bring you in. I just wanted to be able to pin you, and make sure you're front and center, because I'm seeing something different on my laptop than I'm seeing on the phone, so I can't understand.
Sorry, you can't join the phone.
Yeah, I can't understand what the difference is. All right, Dan, take it away. Tell us something exciting, man. Who are you?
First,
And move the camera up so we can see you.
First, I'm going to lower my raised hand. Okay. Then, if I could have about 10 minutes, I'd like to show 2 videos from my project. That's okay.
Okay, Dan, but you got to be 10 minutes because we're supposed to move on to some poetry and all that stuff. So.
All right. I think I can do it quickly. First thing I will do is.
Can you move your camera a little bit? We're seeing half of your face. You have any way to, or move
Yeah, I
back,
can,
or?
but that's not what's important. What's important is to share screen. Okay, so.
If you say so.
I put my link in the chat. Everybody should copy down the link so you can look at it later. Do not click on it now. That's for later. But I'm going to click on it. Hope it does something. Come on. Give me a break. Didn't do anything. Ow. Oh, here it is. Okay. No. All right, let me stop this. Stop that. Open that. Okay, now I want to just pause that. I want to go to, I'm getting better at this. All right, we're gonna do this one. We're gonna press.
All right, Dan,
Yes, I'm ready.
When it works, it works. And then we'll keep the space going, and then it'll pop up when you're ready. So,
okay, I'm almost there. Share screen. There's something about pressing share audio too. I don't know how to do that. Files, where is
Dan, we're on a live broadcast. We don't need the play-by-play of you figuring out. Just figure it out, and we will take over until you're ready. Then it will pop on. So that's all.
All right,
good,
go
man.
ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah. Keep working on it. It'll just pop up when you're ready. Just want to bring it back to the space and share with everyone. You know, I'm learning again how to host something. You know, but some people drop in and out, and they're on Facebook and they're in the Zoom. So I just want to really do my best diligence to share that we're here to celebrate the Design Science Studios launch yesterday of Regen Era, which is the floating mythical city that's here for 10 years to help be one of the spearheads for the Regenaissance movement into a world that really works for all of life. And there we got the screen share.
Yeah, I gotta get.
We're getting closer.
We're getting very close. Okay, here I go.
There we go.
Yesterday I showed a video of an installation of 3 of my big models. But I also told that what I'm really about is what I do with kids. So I want you to watch this thing about what I do with kids. And here it goes. Oh. Got sound?
Yes.
Good. So this is just a few minutes of one visit of a group of 4 or 5 homeschool families to my museum. Right now, they're making a model. This goes for 2 minutes.
Dan, was this preceded by any kind of workshop where you taught the kids about the geometry or how to do this or anything?
Exactly. I did. They were there for about 2 hours. The first hour was a presentation, which one finds in my project as a whole curriculum, but without me being there. And then
I think
after
you can
I
actually
take
turn the
them through
sound
that,
off for the video, Dan, just so we can see the images and hear you talk.
no, it's just music. All right, so this is almost over.
There's some pieces in here that need to be taped. Right here. Tape that right there. Okay, so fold right there.
How do I get out of full screen?
Let's see here.
So that has ended. And now this one is only 2 minutes. Not that one, this one. Here we go. Okay, so this is at the Southwest School of Art. I had 10 kids for 5 mornings, and they produced all this stuff. There's about 10 different classes going on. Then on Friday, during the lunch break, they have what they call Friday finale, and everybody puts out their stuff. So all the stuff that you're seeing in this 2 minutes is stuff that they made in my class. I set up, I put up a display. I have all the parts or things that they need to cut out, and they cut them out and put them together. I give a little instruction the first day. Sometimes they take things home and they work on the pieces and they come back to the class and they put them together. But this is the stuff they make. And we have just another minute of that, and then I will have done my thing. Imagine that, somebody made that. And that. Here they are, people are looking over the display.
Wait, I saw people. Oh, it's an igloo. Yeah. Whose is that?
Dan, I'm just curious, did the kids pick up the vernacular, the words, the language that you give them?
Okay, I couldn't hear what you said because my sound's too loud. Was that Mark?
Yeah.
All right, hang on. This is about to end, and then I will close it.
Dan, turn the volume on the video off. We don't need to hear the volume. We'd rather hear you and look at the images.
All right, well, the images are now over, so done.
Okay.
Yeah, next time, just leave the sound off because it's distracting actually to the images, and we'd rather ask some questions.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm ready for anything.
Well, so my curiosity is about when you're working with the kids, not only are you teaching them something that's very tactile and mathematical, but you're giving them new words.
True.
I'm wondering how do they play with the words and you feel like it's sticky?
Well, I found out that kids at that age, I love that age, like 11 to 14, because you can teach them anything. There's nothing they're not mature enough to learn if presented right. And they're young enough to be in wonderment about anything. And that combination is perfect.
Yeah.
And they learn the names of the things and what they're doing and all of that. I believe also that the process of making something, not only that it makes connections in their brain that gives them aptitudes to becoming good designers later on if they choose that route. I also believe that the changes in their brain are actually physiological, and there's some research that supports that.
And the most important thing is that there's an elder, there's a mentor, there's another being that they're connected to that is parlaying that information to them. Thank you, Dan, for what you do.
Thank you for the privilege of being able to share that today. I hope everybody liked it. And Stroopy saw that too, right, Stroopy? You there?
Right on.
Yes, I did.
Stroopy and I have spoken before.
Oh, nice.
And Julian's here. Julian, I sent you an email. And in the email is the link that I put in the chat to my whole project.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you. Appreciate it. So we're going to start transitioning into some poetry, and then we've got an interview coming up with Gina, one of the cohort members. X, can you be ready in just a couple of minutes, like 2 or 3? Or you need more time, less time?
Yeah, 2 minutes.
Okay. So before we get there, I just want to welcome Julian and Megan, and there's a few more people. I'm just going through the list here. Thank you all for tuning in. We had some rounds, Julian and others. If you'd like to just check, if anyone feels inspired enough to check in and just say, how's it going for you? Past couple of days, what are you feeling good about? What's
I'll be
What's up for
happily
you?
jamming in with you, Brett. This is great. I'm so grateful for you and Mark hosting this space. I'm grateful to hear some poetry in a second here. Thanks, Dan, for sharing this video with all of us. I also got it in my email. Today, what I'm inspired about, I just got off a 2.5 hour session. Some of you were in as well. The second day of the Design Science Studio launch week. And it's just so delicious to, kind of surf the wave of creative people expressing themselves, finding what is their contribution to make in the world again and again and again and again. Because what happens is when you're immersed in that energy all day long, where you realize there's so many people out there that are doing incredible things, you suddenly start to see things possible that, if you hang out with a different mindset or a different crowd, or you watch the news for too long, you don't believe they're possible. And then what really happens is you see they're only possible because of people participating. And so this is what's really up for me today after hearing, I don't know, like more than I have fingers presentations from amazing people in the Design Science Cohort 1, and knowing this is a decade-long effort and that there are so many synergies already among people, and this is broadcasting all over the internet, and some days with more people, some days with less people watching, but who is watching right now? Like, we're calling you to participate, to join, to play, to create, to see what's inside of you and what wants to come out. If that's music, if that's art, if that's poetry, if that's videos, if that's a podcast, if that's an installation, it really matters more that people participate. That's really my check-in today here. It matters more that people participate than what are they participating with, because as you're becoming an active contributor, you'll meet your peers, you'll meet the people that can help you make the next step, you'll meet the people that inspire you to make a next step, and you'll meet some people that don't inspire you, but that then inspires you again in turn, and so participation is what's key. And I'll do another kind of cross-weaving check-in in between the first session of day number 2 of the DSS and this beaming jamming session right now. I was in a clubhouse room with another launch that's really worth mentioning here. I'm sure you'll all hear more about it. It's called Dollar Donation Club. And this is an effort to get millions and hundreds of millions of people in the world to give $1 a month to proven and verified causes that help us regenerate the earth. And so it's kind of like every 12-year-old's dream. I don't know if all of you remember being 12 years old, but when you were 12 years old, you think on that scale. You're like, what if everyone just gave $1? And then, you go around and ask the adults what they think of it. And they usually tell you, like, what a stupid idea. That's never going to be possible. And so really this initiative invites us back into this ethos. Today's also World Water Day. And so with World Water Day, they launched today. I'm very sure it's going to, at the very minimum, unite millions and millions of people to raise millions of dollars each month, not just to give to great causes, but to track the impact and to build a regenerative world together. And so I'll drop a link into the Zoom room here about that. I'm happy to beam more with you, but I'm going to pass it back to you, Brett. And so I think we're going to hear some poetry next.
Yes, thank you, Julian, for checking in and bringing your good energy and helping to round out our broadcast. I was flagging a little bit with the experience you have, and just setting the stage and telling the story to a certain degree, and something I'm learning. So I feel like a breath of fresh air there. Thank you for coming in and bringing your space. And you reminded me of the quote. I'll just bring it up because I love it so much. It reminded me of Howard Thurman, which is, don't ask what the world needs. Ask what makes you come alive, and go do that. Because what the world needs is more people that have come alive. And that's really about stop being a martyr, stop trying to fix things, stop doing what you think needs to be done. Because when you do what makes you come alive, and you go do that, and everyone starts doing that, I've seen it with my own eyes, actually, in my research and development on co-creation. Everything gets done, whether it's the famous who will pave the roads or who will take out the trash, or does everyone want to play? It does actually. 100%. It actually all gets taken care of when people do what makes them come alive. And this is a very inverted thing for us. And it's not about ego either. It's about finding the soul essence that you're talking about, Julian. So
And it
I'm just
becomes
really- I'm really
very,
happy you
very,
brought that in.
very tactile in a cohort like this across all these different Zoom rooms, these different sessions on all the broadcasts. Is wow, when you're immersed in that energy of people that are creating, like Stroopy, who's like playing on his guitar while he's listening to me, being like, I can turn on my microphone and then we'd be listening to him play the guitar. But basically, there's so many pulses of life wanting to spread life, and that's really a flip from the age that I call them the dark ages, like the last hundreds of years, where we just waited for leaders to tell us what to do and just discussed about who are the worst leaders. And it's very tiresome, and you can feel how your own energy level goes down and down and down and down as you do that, and your energy goes up and up and up and up when you're surrounded by creators. And I'll just continuously invite people to join, to participate. And I know that that's the energy that lets us all thrive. So thanks for digging it, Brett.
Thank you, Julian. All right, we're getting ready for the big beaming Regen era debut of Poet Laureate. And let me get you on the spotlight here, X, first of all. So you are front and center in your psychedelic.
Is the Poet Laureate something different? I think that's something different than her, but she's welcome to the stage. That's fine.
Yes, my bad. I'm terribly politically incorrect, I have to admit. All right.
Okay, so it sounds like you're wanting to hear some poetry. I have two pieces that I would love to read. One is quite short, and it is written in inspiration of the spring equinox that we just went through, the vernal equinox. And in listening to this poem, I really invite you to follow what your body wants to do. And, I will not be insulted if you walk off. If you tune into your body and you find that you need to take care of it, please take that time to do so. It's all about diving deeper into yourself. So this one's called Know Your Rights, RIGHTS/rights, RITES of spring. Know your rights of spring. All beings, without discrimination as to bodied or ethereal form, be they human, animal, fae, angel, or elemental, have fundamental rights. Before you get stopped by a seasonal sentinel, know your fundamental freedoms and rights. You have the right to stop and smell the flowers, frolic in meadows, drink dew, with a caveat that you remember that you make dew too, and to get permission before drinking dew not of your generation. You have permission to sunbathe naked until sun drunk, but do not operate a wand or cast circle under the influence. You have the fundamental right to enlighten up, to beam and be seen, to get dirty with the earth and be washed clean in sacred streams, to grow gardens, but ask before weeding, because one being's weed is another's medicine. You have the fundamental right to sing with the birds, but it's common courtesy not to mimic mating calls. You have the fundamental right to be a cuddly love bunny or madly mating March hare, soft and supple while fierce and free, because you have the right to be a paradox dichotomy. You have the fundamental right to shepherd your sacred cows to greener pastures, with the caveat to care for the commons, because when we all tend and befriend, there is no tragedy of the commons. You have the fundamental right to plant seeds, fertilize and incubate your eggs, and otherwise reproduce and radiate your resplendence while remaining aware of relative resources. You have the fundamental right to nestle into nourishing nests, but make sure the nest is not currently in use, or weave your own home. You have the right to bloom big, to share sun and shade. You have the right to tend to your brood, but don't get broody. You have the right to passionate, prolific play, to adorn adoringly, and to grow antlers and protective protrusions. and to shed them when no longer of service. You have the right to tend to tenderness. And finally, you have the unalienable metamagic right to rewrite your story. So within that poem is like all the things that spring equinox is traditionally known for with regards to, you know, rites and rituals and things like that. So that was just kind of fun, seasonal one. And the one that I'm really excited to read is called Movement, 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 Revolution. And I wrote this in honor of there's this kind of like movement towards embodied healing that I'm a part of, and I'm really honored to be a part of. And it's all the things that I love about that community and why movement is so important to well-being, all wrapped up into one. So it's in honor of this movement community that I'm a part of, that we're all welcome to be a part of. All right. Movement, 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 revolution. We are the movement, 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 revolution. Amplifying awareness of body temple, community communion, movement, meditation, medicine, sacred somatic sacrament, magnifying mobile, magnetic, energetic field, shared right in time space where bodies come to pray. Presence piloting physicality, vessels channeling spirit, scene, and story, delighting in conscious corporeal canvas of surface and structure, exquisite sensation combinations, performed in playful proprioception, exponential multiplication of enjoyment, in experimentally expanding sensation palette, manifesting motivating motion, mirror neurons mentally modeling mutual mobility map, delivering delicious dopamine direct to the dome, bountiful body bliss, instilling inspirational impulse to energetically enrobe in empathetic engagement, averting from treadmill of goal-grasping attachment, true treasure, potent, present presence, bountiful basking in unreplicable radiance, blooming womb tomb transcending transitory transition, wisdom wearing bodies distinctly in metamorphosis, pleasure practice producing continual contextual content co-creation, calisthenic calibration, innovation, and adaptation. Each empath an epic echoing eons, patterned in prose, theatrically threading together time, weaving waveforms, immediately integrating insights, seeding, spooling spirals in space-time, modeling mystery in motion, meeting materiality maternally, lengthening lifetimes, engaging in evolving empathy, in native tongue of touch, translating tactile texture and traction, communicating content in dynamic 5D data density, freed from fetters of flatness, flowering, fractalizing, facets flowing, interdimensional introspection, meaning multiplying, moving beyond dwindling, dried up depth of dependence on context stripped confusion and chaos common in mono communication. Rome, interconnectors cross-pollinating globe, gathering to world wander in wonder, finding far-flung family in enfolding embrace. reconnecting and reaching out, squishing into synergetic species, rejoicing and reuniting, celebrating collective company, cultivating co-creative capability to hold holistic healing home in heart, gathering in attuned awareness, reducing resistance and rebirthing into resonance, nourishing gnosis, local and long range, in awe amplifying, healing, harmonizing feedback fields, collective caring, cherishing community, universe informed by plurality of perspective, exploring ourself, learning collaboratively, relationally, recollecting reciprocity, embracing emotions as soul song, expressed easefully in flow, fantastically far from frozen in fear of feeling, fully relaxed, receptive, and responsive to reflection and repatterning, summoning safe space, sensing subconscious mapped in moving body, transmuting trauma and triggers, unlocking power previously padlocked and patrolled in projection, liberating bound and buried becomings, redirecting service to positive purpose, curiously catalyzing capacity to create capabilities, carefully encouraging exploration of elongating edges, cultivating fertile soil, tending growing evolutionary edge, somatic sages beyond ages, co-creating curative cultural change, boldly birthing a potent, pregnant paradigm, grounding graceful gratitude, reverberating in remembrance of wholeness, daringly dream dancing, in so doing sharing stories for freeing forthcoming future, living destiny, embodying earth in heaven. Welcome to the movement revolution.
Oh yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, let's get a group. I want some.
Yeah. That's my longest one, but it's so fitting because it's about being part of a movement, and that's what I feel like is the case for the Design Science Studio. And it's often so ephemeral and hard to put into words, but it's this feeling of soaring together.
Thank you so much for being your authentic self, X, and giving a new voice into the space. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. When did you write that? Is that something recent or something that older, or?
That one's a little older. I've sometimes I write a piece and then I'll return to it and create new versions of it. But I wrote that first, probably when I first became involved in the Bay Area, sort of like conscious movement community, sort of like ecstatic dance, somatic therapy studying. I mean, really, in some ways, like my whole life has led to writing it, but in terms of like putting it down on paper, gosh, probably like I started it, let's say maybe 8 years ago, something like that.
Wow, fascinating. I'm always fascinated by people's creative processes, especially around writing, just from a personal standpoint. I'm not a natural, I write when I'm inspired, but if I'm told to write or I'm looking at a blank piece of paper, I struggle a lot. And I know some people actually have cultivated a discipline where they can write every day or write papers or briefs or poems. I'm always fascinated how it is for people. Like, is it painful, so to say, or is it easy for them to write? So I'm just quite always fascinated. So how about you, X? Do you kind of write when inspired, as inspired, or do you write all the time? Or is it easy for you, so to say, or what's it like?
It gets easier over time. I mean, with any artistic endeavor, the the wisdom, I'm rereading Twyla Tharp's kind of book on creativity. It's like to do it every day is what allows you to have the experiences of luck where kind of the muse visits you and it really comes through. So I would say I definitely write every day. There are some days that I will be inspired by something and I'll like just write a poem in that one day. And I find myself, I find like freedom and limitation insofar as like, that's one of my few non-rhyming pieces, but most of my pieces rhyme because otherwise my ideas like need a little bit of limitation or like structure or challenge to actually catalyze into a piece. And yeah, so I write every day. I'll write more some days than other days. And I find it a lot, I enjoy like helping others name things. Like there's ways in which you can use your artistic medium in innovative ways. So I'll often like, I guess it's branding technically, but like helping someone like come up with a name for what they do or their company or their new endeavor or their course. And so there's like different ways to use the medium of words in different ways, not just like sitting down and forcing yourself to write in a way that's unpleasant. You can kind of use words as a palette in a more fun way.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing some insight into your process. I'm looking forward to going deeper over the years, actually, with people, kind of like the Actors Studio. I always love that. If anyone's ever seen that guy used to interview the actors, I actually went to some of those live where they keep going for like hours. And I always thought it was the most fascinating thing to hear the actors talk about their processes and all that. Cool. Thank you, X. Thank you so much for being here. Everyone, give it one last, some kind of, if you're out there and you can. Thank you. Stephanie, did you have something that you wanted to read? And Jenny, I was wondering also if you had something you might want to read.
So thank you, and thank you, X. That was beautiful. And the thing that I wanted to share was I was going to bring, because part of my project is bringing your projects and other people's projects that I feel really help raise the frequency of people in place to those things. So what happened for me was when my kids were in school, one day.
Are you able to go on camera, Steph? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, it's fine. It's okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Again, the same clothes. I'm here at the base of the Design Science Studio headquarters right now, and I haven't even changed my clothes because I haven't left yet.
You're like in a Will Ferrell movie. You're like the Will Ferrell.
Yes, I'm documenting from the back end so I can share with all of you what's going on behind the scenes, which is quite funny because these two are up there just, like the Wizard of Oz happening here. So what I wanted to share is that my kids came home from 3rd grade, and there was somebody that I noticed had a huge impact on their lives, and it's that I want to share. So she was going to come here and speak, but the time wasn't quite right. So I'm going to go right there in 1 second. And sorry, I thought it was there. So I'm just going to read you two things, and then we go on with the show. Hang on. They were right here. Here they are. Okay. So number 1. Okay. Life. I am the crashing stream that deer go to for a morning drink, that fish travel on and light shimmer on. I am traveling north, going home. I know a secret that only I know, the secret of life. I am the wind that flies through the night sky, that stars shine through. I carry leaves through the night. I bring the sweet smell of pumpkin muffins to a lonely child. I am the mountain that scrapes the sky that blue jays sing to. I understand that it's good to pause in life and take a moment to think, to be calm and peaceful. I am fire. I run through the world. I dance to laughter. I give warmth to all who ask. They sing to my music. Olivia Roth, 3rd grade, Tam Valley School, Marin County. So basically, This poem was written by a third grader, and I'm going to read one more, and it made me know that the woman who taught them was completely brilliant, because I know my kids, and this was very moving to hear them write this way. So this is the second one. Look for me in a deep, dark, damp forest, in the dawn when the wind blows the leaves left to right and back again, and where the animals play past bedtime and the wind whistles, come into me, come fast. Look for me where the sounds of night slither in as kids go to bed, where owls hoot and their bright yellow eyes glisten as they spot a mouse scurry under a purple petal shutting its petals, purple tulip shutting its petals. Hear me when the cat goes hunting, when the coyotes howl at the round moon glowing like its neighbors, the stars. Smell me by the green grass or at a pond where the lilies glow pink. Taste me in the ripest strawberry at the start of spring. Feel me swish my great falcon wings as I soar to catch my prey. Listen to the wolves' paws as they listen to the wind. Look for me here. Ruby Roth, third grade. So this teacher is the poet laureate of Marin County. I'm doing this project with Bridges, 13 Voices with all of you, and Appalachia Rising, which I'll talk more about. But she's already has like 26 classes for first grade to sixth grade and adults, and happy and ready to share them with these projects that we're working on. So that's what I'm bringing here. So thank you.
Thank you, Stephanie. It's so wonderful, the idea that children are acquiring this perspective, but more the ability to eloquently represent it and to share it and bring what out is in and then in out again. It's beautiful.
And also just to show you that it's really proof though, because I know my kids and I was very intentional to make sure they went to very nature bound places. And by the time they got to elementary school, they were in the public school system. So I know that it was put in, and I know it has to be put in. And even as they were in high school at a play, the drama teacher turned to me and she said, it's great that there's still creative kids out there. And so what I see from that is when it's put in, it sprouts and it germinates and it wants to spread. And again, I go back to what you said, Julian, if he was still here or on the other format, but it's the pulse of light that creates more pulses. And that's what we're doing and spreading and bringing. So just thank you all for what you're doing.
No, thank you for bringing that
I
in.
wish to spread it too. Thank you.
You are. You brought us incredible gifts yesterday, and I look forward. I imagine you'll drop in tomorrow as well. Please. All right.
Absolutely.
Who else would like to step into the poetry ring, center stage here, and share with us? Who said that?
Jenny. You guys
Okay.
hear me? So this one's a short one, but it just came to me the other day. And Brett knows I'm a very excitable person as well. And I just got my gene keys done. And my big lesson, I think, is patience. It says it in my gene keys. That's my mortal, eternal battle. And
I would have known. I would have known.
So this poem came to me the other night, and it's one of my favorites that I've ever written, so I'll just share it. Dear Patience, the naysayers know not. In the throes of her thorns lie the budding roses to adorn a heavenly delight. Whispering on the winds of her screeches float the magic spells that your heart song vibrates to. O Patience, she honors thee a golden presence, a tourniquet of passion. For as the truest sage, dear Patience, remember that these whims of whipped rage are just a taste of her savory pleasure. Upon your breath of trust, the queen's throne rests. Sunbathing on an expansive span of angels' wings, the princess within softens. When you arrive at her door, Patience, she greets you as an old friend. Your weary heart is home. And so that's sort of my deeper poetry. And then I'd also like to share one of my songs, if that's okay. A new one I just wrote about trauma and motherhood and Mother Earth.
Please do.
And so I'll share this. This is a pre-written one before this event, but what I will say is that I have a track and I've been jotting, and I think I said this in our beam yesterday, I've been taking notes. And so by the end of this week, I'll be able to share a song that was beamed from this beamcast. So awesome. This is a preview of something pre-written, but hopefully you'll enjoy it. Here it goes. This one's called Ailment.
Ailments, burdens, triggers, resilience. They bury us alive. Don't know in soil that we thrive. Hummingbird upon a ride. Endless flow of gushing tap. Wellspring winter breeze. Sing song antifreeze. Royal compass north. Watch what we march forth. 3rd, 5th, 6th through 8th. Women stand in faith. Global hymen ripped. Bloody moon cycle stripped. Trauma, let's talk about it. Mamas can't seem to live without it. Here we are. Totality of the universe. Honor us, we all came from a woman. Let us feel and be totally human. Every choice is guided by our intuitive voice. Play is what we do. Abuse what we push through. Neglected, ill-protected. Resurrected, it's a coup. We want to be heard without the victim mentality, but silencing our wisdom and emotions is reality. Up the ladder we climb, down in love deep we fall. You want us to stay focused, we want to have it all. Like a laser we pierce you, distracted and confused. Match us on the dollar every moment you're amused. Correcting the misogyny, escaping the troll. Emotional labor, pay our energetic toll. Trauma, let's talk about it. Mamas can't seem to live without it. Here we are, the totality of the universe. Honor us, we all came from a woman. Let us feel and be totally human. Every choice is guided by our intuitive voice. Circular economy. Together first, we all are free. Put the money in our banks. Give us peaceful army tanks. Hooded legacy on switch. Which ain't filthy rich. Fiat currency a laugh. Make me dinner, draw a bath. Precise and assertive, love a challenge and emotive. Masculine, we honor you. Be empowered, usher through the feminine in all of us. Communication to build trust. New paradigm ahead, eating cake and buttered bread. Trauma, let's talk about it. Mamas can't seem to live without it. Here we are, the totality of the universe. Honor us, we all came from a woman. Let us feel and be totally human. Every choice is guided by our intuitive voice. And love, all systems are aglow. It's ready, set, let's grow. Plant the seed, nourishment strong. We hope you'll join along. All human hearts belong intricately. Woman, you create all abundance. Mother Earth is gonna totally fund us. Cherish her, every queen in the kingdom brilliantly.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, everybody just give Jenny that energy, that I get an immediate sense of release from your song. I'm wondering who else, give us a one word that you're feeling right now from that energy. Just jump on in. Let's hear it from each of you.
Empowered.
Empowered, yeah.
Appreciation.
Appreciation.
Thank you for the love. It's taken me a long time. It's taken me a long time to get.
You are
to
a
that
spiritual
place.
girl living in a spiritual world.
I like it.
Spiritual girl
I'm a
in a
spiritual girl
spiritual world.
living in a spiritual world. Thank you for holding space for me, y'all. I appreciate it.
And thank you. Thank you. It's so beautiful.
Oh, Yelena, I love that painting. I want to make it mine.
I'm going to spotlight the painting for a minute, because so everyone could see that painting. Yeah, it's beautiful.
I'm still working on the moment when I pass the river. It's Franklin River with beautiful how trouts, the big fish with different colors, and people allowed fishing in here, but they can't take the fish and prepare the fish as a food. They just remove the hook from the mouth of the fish and then let the fish go to the doctor, to the dentist maybe. So, and it's so weird because people just don't understand what they are doing, maybe bringing pain to the creature and then just for own joy. I want those people to hear the song, to hear the music, not to stand in a cold water making suffering some creatures. And I'm always talking about animals and their rights. So we do have the right to write poems, to write poetry, not to the animal, but to us, to people to understand. And it's always painful for me that the animals, they don't have the rights. So they only have power when they are strong, and you meet the animals somewhere and the animal have power over you. That's only what they have on this planet. We have everything, especially when we can think and write poetry. It brings us so much from God. And what do we bring to the creatures, alive creatures at the same planet? And maybe this work about that, because it's always in my mind. And I'm sorry I'm saying that, but I love you guys. It's I sorry that I said that I'm the fighter for the animal rights. But I want to say that I'm so happy to spend time with you. I had from this singing and the poetry and talking, I'm looking at you people, you're so beautiful. And thank you so much for opportunity to work with you. And maybe I will come, not tomorrow, but my daughter will come tomorrow. I will come next day because we have little kids around. And thank you so much for this program. I love it so, so much. I have to leave, unfortunately. And I was so happy to work with you.
Thank you.
Thank you. God bless you. Thank you so much.
Thanks for the painting.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
So, Mr. Mark, do you have any? Do you have any inclinations or ideas?
Well, yes, I actually have. I'm trying to beam aboard. Actually, Mona, hang on a second. I'm in the middle of trying to get us a beautiful poem that's I've got a link for. And you can just, why don't you reset the room for where we're at, what we're doing, why we're here, while I bring this up, okay?
Okay. Stroopy, you feel like playing any tunes, dude? Or you need to get it? Can you hop in, or do you need time? Don't worry, no obligation, man. I thought you could play some background music while
I can hop in and offer you a song. So a little poetry with a bit of a music underneath, you know. This one's called Wake Up, and it's one of those songs that changed a lot over time because, well, over a specific time, because when I wrote it, I was on my way through Berlin to a work where I had to work every day, set times, and, well, not my kind of work. And it was a very deep and dark song, and I wrote a chorus that was earth-shattering, and I didn't like the song at all. And later on, I came back to it and wrote another chorus, and yeah, it grew into this song, Wake Up. the same. Like millions of people around you, you've got to be. Now I got confused. I shouldn't read the chat while singing. Oh, this is live. Woohoo! And this is the moment where you say,
There you go.
rewind.
Is there any notes I can play with that, you know?
What?
Is there any notes I can play with that? Like a one chord or a note? Like what chord?
You can try A, but it's this one is actually rather complicated set
Okay, go
of
ahead.
chords. So
All right,
if
right
you
on.
if you play around with a bit of A around there, should be fine. We're getting there. We're getting there. You know, it's a long way to wake up, but it's worth it. By the way, it's already about to be 10 at night over here. Time goes by. Oh. So you're sitting on a train again. Seems to me it's every day the same. Millions of people around you. You must not be late. You got work to do. Wake up. See through the lies you've been told. Not a glittering metal is gold. Gold lies within the times you share with the ones you love. It's nothing you could buy, but just as real as the earth below and the skies above. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Next stop was school, oh great. That's actually the third verse. I'm so confused today, I'm sorry. But let me jump in back there. And Brett, if need be, you can try E. I think it's actually more E than A. Oh, today is a great day to do this. Yeah, let me... yeah. From the first day of your life, you've been told, if you don't get a well-paid job, you won't get old. But instead, die of hunger and thirst. So you were cursed. And now wake up, see through the lies you've been told. Not a glittering metal is gold. Gold lies within the times you share with the ones you love.
high, but just as real as the earth below and the skies above. So wake up, wake up, wake up. Yeah, you can answer that call and response. Wake up, 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 wake up. There's a truth hidden beneath the surface of fakes. It's the system of Babylon that has kept us in chains. Now listen closely to my words. There's more to life than death and birth. As materialism keeps time brief for things that matter. Like love and music, sharing these makes life way better. Now wake up, see through the lies you've been told. Not the glittering metal is gold. Gold lies within the times you share with the ones you love. It's nothing you could buy, but just as real as the earth below and the skies above. So wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up.
Beautiful, Struby.
The most confused rendition ever.
That was good, good rhythm, man. Good beat, good words, man. No, thank you.
Yeah, and if I may say one thing about that song, that I don't even remember how old it is, but something like 10 years probably by now. And in the bridge part where it's a bit special and stuff, what I said was it's the system of Babylon that kept us in chains, and I've been introduced to the concept of Babylon system long ago with the Rastas and all that. And now I know what that is, I can say specifically it is the belief in a cube that is non-triangulated, a static cube that is only space. That is Babylon system. It's at the heart of civilization is that belief in nonsense. And funnily enough, what you need to make the cube stable is the diagonals, right? The square roots. So that's roots culture, is to be aware of that being the primary part of the cube. Just to make that clear, it's still somewhere here. I'm not making that up. This is the ghost cube. Okay, but that's it.
Brett, I think he said, I kid you not.
Awesome.
Thank you, Stu. It was beautiful and always insightful. Always insightful. Brett, we are at the end of our time, I believe. Is that true? We've gone 2 hours. Yesterday, we put in 4 hours. Nobody wanted to leave the session. Nobody wanted to leave Regen era. Nobody wanted to depart from the Regenaissance. What are we going to do today? I've got construction still in the background. How are you feeling about it?
Isn't there a Regener Jam now on Clubhouse gonna happen?
Yeah,
That
so
will
in
be-
1 hour, we're going to go live on Clubhouse. So for those of you who want to keep rolling and want to go deeper, yes, 1 hour from now, we'll start with a Regen era jam session. So there will be more music, there will be more calls for participation. And if someone needs invites for Clubhouse, reach out to any of us, either on Facebook or on WhatsApp or on Zoom, wherever you are, and we'll get you all in there.
I think what we can do is we can open up the space to see if anyone here wants to check in some way and share something that means something to them. A reflection on the evening, a reflection on the Design Science Studio launch, or a reflection on their own life and where they're headed and what matters to them. And I'll just ask people to be a little bit mindful of speaking for a couple minutes so we have some space for anyone who would like to possibly do that to be able to do that. So is there anyone that would like to share something? You can. Melissa, was that you saying yes or no? You don't have to. I wasn't
It was
sure. No?
beautiful.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Brett. Yes, I really enjoyed it. I had no idea what to expect. Aryabhata kind of pulled me into the party. I didn't know there was one. So we had a meeting earlier and he invited me to come here. And it just, every single thing shared was just beautiful. And I was really touched to have the opportunity to share the space with you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Lua. Is there anyone else that would like to share anything? We're just going to sit in silence for a moment until someone wants to, or not.
I'm really enjoying all the, closer interactions with people in a way. I really love music and dance and all the people's ideas. And I feel like it's uplifting when I get to hear people, singing live or, talking about their projects in the moment, where often I'm just kind of observing and during the sessions, and I don't know, I just love how immediate things are. And I really appreciate everything everyone's doing to make these things viewable. So thank you.
Thank you, Melissa. Dean, is there something you wanted to share?
Peace. I've been working with a couple of groups, and I just want to share with you what's happening because you're a good group. This little machine is about to go into production. It takes bio waste and it makes 50 cubic yards of material a day that can be infected with fungus. It can make 365 bricks, that's a cubic yard, times 50 in a day. Great building material. Now I'm just going to open up just because I want to share a little bit of my work.
This is beautiful. Where are you feeding in from? Where are you calling in from?
I am from, right now, Kingsburg, California, and I am moving to Oklahoma in a couple days. And
your artwork, is this, what's your medium there? What is it you're working with?
Folded paper, photography, painting, sculpture, filters, reflections, nature, objects, a lot of folded paper, a lot of things I've designed, design road I've walked down that is right with the geometry of the geodesic dome, and the rest of the stuff can be printed and turned into buildings. I'm really looking forward to working with everybody here, because on top of the thing that makes the bricks, I also have technologies working with plasma science that for things like agriculture increases productivity, temperature range, nutrition, and everything is happening right now. So I'm glad to be part of it. There's so much.
Yeah, it sounds like you're quite a comprehensive design scientist, kind of artist kind of guy. Would you say?
Well,
robust.
I learned from Buckminster Fuller. I saw him in the Bell Labs when, let's see if we can see my face. I saw him when I was a child. So I've been around a long time, 60 plus years, always an artist and always designing. So I have well over 100,000 works. Anyway, I'm really glad to.
There you are.
Yes.
Hi.
Yes.
Yeah. So we had a wonderful guest last night who has written a book. Stephanie's still with us? Stephanie.
Dean,
Patricia
can you
was
send
with
me an email later on?
I have to be quiet here.
It's Brett.
Okay. I was just going to suggest that we put the link for the book that was introduced yesterday about the girl who met Buckminster Fuller.
Yes, I will put that in here. Absolutely.
Yeah, the idea that you carry that seed, like we learned yesterday, that there's something in you from Bucky, something you've been carrying. Brad, what is that seed?
It's not only a seed from him. It is also a seed from, I would say, the Venus Project with Jacques Fresco. But I've been involved spiritually in this process now. I took a commitment in the throne room over 4 decades ago. And I have been working in the spiritual realm as well as the creative realm for that time, and in humanities, to bring about the change. Now I have a very unique situation, and that's that I have stayed outside of the Babylon system. And for the last 27 years, I have not had one of my heartbeats go into the taxes that provides for the militaries. And I'm ready to release, and times are here, and funding is coming. And we have the ability to do so much stuff and release so much, not only in the agriculture, the 3, mining, manufacturing, and agriculture, and in community, the way to give vertically in order to start the fractal economics of creation.
Dean,
with that,
can you see the chat in the Zoom?
Yes, I can.
Yeah,
I can copy it.
Yeah, send me an email sometime. I want to get to know you better and hear more about all that.
You got it. I will do that. Oh, it's really easy to get a hold of me.
Yeah.
Folding hands at Proton Mail.
Proton.
Folding hands at Proton Mail, yeah?
Yep. And the reason is because my life has been, probably the most important art to me has been folding. And within that, I learned both the redemption of the heart and the releasing of the spirit. And through the folding of sacred geometry, I wired my mind, both left and right hemisphere, for coming right into the center of creation, because I got to program my mind with sacred geometry. I'll give you my email because I've taken over 2 minutes. Thank you, guys. Peace.
Thank you. Yeah. Beaming in with his special wisdom.
Thank you for the power-packed few minutes, Dean, and thank you for honoring the space with being super thorough, but also super mindful. I really appreciate that, man.
Can I ask a clarity? Was that proton or photon mail?
Proton, Proton, Proton. It's a nice encrypted mail system that some of us use, if you're into that. Is there anyone else who would like to relate, I would say, to anything that Dean or anyone else has shared, or somehow step into the space in some way?
Let's take a moment to refresh, reset, remind where we're at, what we're doing. Yeah. We're beaming Regenera. Regenera is the heart of the Regenaissance, hosted and sponsored by Buckminster Fuller Institute and Rehab. And 144 artists from around the world that are sharing their sensibilities and how they are anchoring themselves in the future that works for 100% of life. So that's what we're doing. We're here beaming from around the world, enjoying each other's company, taking a moment to reflect and relax as we head each into our next venture, as there's a lot going on this week. And Brett, maybe you can share some of the tours that maybe people can go on and see and interact with in different environments.
Yeah, so I'm gonna do a better job of putting some links in the, I think, in the Facebook chat after this broadcast ends. I'll go back into the Facebook chat. I guess that's a good place for people who are watching live on Facebook or or tuning in that way, to share some of the different events that are happening. First of all, the best place to go is the Presence platform for Regeneration Rising. Mark, we need to write down those links so we can actually say them out loud. But I'll find them for. Oh, there. Well, it's actually on Stephanie's. Let me just highlight Stephanie's screen there because she actually has. There we go. Perfect. Thank you for having the background bright and ready, Stephanie. So if you all go to bit.ly, Regeneration Rising, you will see this event and all the other events you can attend. There's different panels, there's different plenary sessions, there's virtual reality at New Art City, there's a platform called Topia. So there's a lot of different ways to interact with this Design Science Studio launch and Regenera. And there's also a link, REGENERA without the dot there. So Regenera.city, which I highly, 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 highly recommend everyone go and check out. It's quite a stunning piece of art. I would call it like an art site more than a website, to be honest. But so that's Regenera, REGENERA.city, CITY. For me, that's the coolest thing to pass along right at the moment. And also what you're looking at there where it says tickets, because that will show you the different talks that are going on. For example, this Saturday, I believe, or Friday, I'm going to take part in a panel on mental wellness and mental health from the individual up to, to the planetary scale. And there's something called the Vision Train. I mean, there's just so many different things. And I'm going to do a better job of getting a list out for the next time. But if you just visit these links, everyone, and start taking a look around, bookmark them, come back to them later, you're going to find something that is definitely of interest to you. Is there anyone else that wants? Yeah.
I just wanted to pop in with one more thing because we're talking about cities. Two of the groups that I'm involved with have been given funding for creating cities. So we'll be able to put these technologies into focus.
Awesome.
I want everybody to know that this is the 10 years. I've waited 50 years for it.
You and me both, my friend. You and me both. That's exactly why I'm here too, because there's something that caught us in the swirl. And here we are backcasting, sharing our stories of how we got here today with what our intent is of where we want to anchor ourselves in the future. And this 10 years is what the Design Science Studio is focused on. We're the Design Science Decade that Bucky put on actually in 1965 to 1975, when you and I were right at the age of being ripe enough to absorb and carry on that work. We appreciate you being here. I know I'm getting rung for other things. Brett,
yeah,
everybody.
Thank you so much. You get in touch with me because we get to implement right now. I'm in financing meetings in the next couple days for the cities.
Rock on, Dean.
We are part of. It's not a reset. Because
Thank
there's
God.
nothing to reset. There's something to create. There's nothing to set. There's only, and there's a generation, not a regeneration. We are creators, not recreators. We're visionaries. We are sovereign. Anyway, I'm happy to be here. I'm still breathing.
You know, hey, Dean, you reminded me. My friends and I work with Barbara Marks Hubbard a little bit, who passed away this year. She was about 90, and we work with her on some different ideas of her idea of a social synergy and synergy engine and co-creation. But the one piece of advice she gave us that I remember among all of the things she's done and said is she said, Brett, if you want to be a visionary, just stay alive. So Dean, you reminded me you reminded me of that when you said that. So we're still here and we're alive and we're gonna bring it big style. Good to meet you. So we're gonna wind down. I'm gonna still give a last go around if people want to say. Let's do it. If anyone wants to say a couple words of gratitude, it's always nice to end with gratitude. I'll start it off. Thank you everyone who's been hanging out for these couple hours. Thank you to the Design Science Studio cohorts who are only going to become my best friends. And thank you to the small group that actually co-organized and held down the space and catalyzed that whole experience. And thank you to everyone out there who's been hanging out with us on Facebook or whatever social media and watching this broadcast. And thank you, my friend Mark, for being my the Abbott to my Costello, the Pete to my pod, the peanut butter to my jelly, all that good stuff. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Peace.
All right, my friends, there's nothing more felt than the silence of the heart. And we'll leave you with that. Until tomorrow, we'll be beaming from Regeneration. Adios.
I'm gonna play out with a song, Mark. I'll stay on. I'm just gonna put on one of my favorite songs. It's gonna be an anthem for the Togetherland project and go out with that for 4 or 5 minutes once everyone signs off.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
we know it's time. I don't just wanna be happy, I wanna live with some peace of mind, with who I am at all times, with who I am at all. Think righteous, solely indeed, all in together, all about we. All remember, cause it's all beyond me, all about free, so my spirit flow at ease. Light years beyond my pride, just to carry over the shine inside my light.
Beyond the light, who I am throughout the light, who I am throughout the light, who I am beyond the light.
Maybe it was all the exception, or a different perspective. Maybe I just had to learn a lesson, a confession, or get a sense of direction. Playing the game so limited simply was the process involved. So we suffered, fought as failed lovers, covered and concealed, not revealed who we truly are. And through the light years, so many stories we told. But no matter how intense or the depth, nothing keeps the truth unexposed. 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 Nothing keeps the truth unexposed.
So long holding on to an illusion. My heart is free, no confusion now. I feel everything that I'm choosing. I see
In a mind far beyond all space and time, a phenomenon lives, ever crystallized, thought victimized. In the infancy, love always rules, there is no other dependency. Exposed how my throne stayed aligned, just to open up so that a storm may arise. Maybe I can catch it, maybe I can spare the pride. Humbly in greatness, I'm no longer surprised. Rise in the mind, I don't have to jump ship. Living what I'm not holds moles that don't fit. How does it exist? It's something like an art. Only way to shift it, be the Noah's Ark. Why? I just wanna live my life, knowing that I'll be alright. I just wanna play with my heart still major, play for creative nature. Never meant to feel pain, so I danced when the rain came. All the stories and the change, worth it every time. Never meant to cause pain, but it still served in my mind frame. All the roles we had to play, still living, loving life.
Good night, my friends. We will see you tomorrow. Same regenerative channel, same regenerative time.